We're Cassie.
And Emily.
And this is Book Bits and Chill, a podcast where we talk about books, movies, and pop culture the way that you actually experience them.
This show is for type B readers, people who love stories but don't want the pressure, perfection, or the participation trophies.
Hit follow, grab a drink, and let's talk about it.
Okay, Cassie, I have a question for you. You find out your fiancé is cheating on you. What is your response?
I don't know, cry, call my friends, maybe commit a minor crime.
Wrong. You quit your job, move across the Atlantic, get bangs, and accidentally become emotionally entangled with a Scottish professional footballer.
Obviously, that's the healthy choice. You're right.
And that is the beginning of Abby Offsides, the debut romance novel from Anna McCallie that has completely taken off. It's funny, it's messy, it's swoony, full of football, or what we may call soccer, and has the kind of slow burn that makes you forget you were ever supposed to be making rational decisions.
Abby Offsides is already a bestseller, has thousands of ratings on Goodreads, and has even had Jenna Bush Hager comparing it to Ted Lasso meets Off Campus and Heated Rivalry. Like, say less. So basically, Anna knew exactly what she was doing to us.
And somehow, this is her debut novel. Anna McCallie, we are so excited to have you on Book Bits and Chill.
Woo! We have so much we need to talk about, but before we interrogate you about Scottish footballers and questionable fictional decisions, tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm so excited to be here. This is awesome. I'm Anna. I wrote this book. I am an American by birth, but a Londoner by choice. I've been here for 10 years. Too late to get the accent, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
Never say never.
I know, right? It helps when I'm drunk. I can do a little bit better then. I don't know. Scorpio, like long walks on the beach. That's actually not true. I hate long walks on the beach. I like
Lie.
I know, right? Long naps in the mountain. That's my vibe. Yeah.
Good pivot.
You know,
Good
they
pivot.
say that 10 years is when you can officially call yourself like a local of a place.
True.
Yeah. And I think the great thing about London is that, like, nobody's really from here. It's kind of like New York. Like, if you are actually from here, you're very proud of it. But there are also so many people who have just made it their home. So it's easier to say, yeah, I'm a Londoner.
Love this intro to you. And before we start deep diving this book that we are absolutely obsessed with, we love to do a little rapid fire section just to get things warmed up and learn a little bit more about you. This can be a yes and no. You can elaborate if you want, but are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it.
If you get one girls' night with any romance heroine, who are you going out with?
I think Bridget Jones.
Yeah.
You're going to the pub, you're necking a bunch of pints, you're hanging out with her hilarious friends, you're making bad decisions, you're in London. Perfect night.
Yes.
Love it. Found family.
Zero notes.
What romance trope will you be defending with your life?
I will die on the hill of friends to lovers. I feel like it gets unfairly, poo-pooed because, listen, we all love enemies to lovers. I was going to say Emily's to lovers. We do love Emily's to lovers.
We also love Emily's to lovers.
Yeah.
Shout out Emily's.
That's my cross to bear.
But I love a good friends to lovers. I love watching the friends,
too.
Slowly become something more.
I'm with you.
We can argue about that later.
I'm not gonna. I'll be on your side. If we went to a pub quiz with you tonight, what category are you absolutely carrying the team in?
I think like geography. I just really love a map.
I
see
capital.
That for you. That's a big one. And then like 90s music.
Okay.
Full support there.
Of all of your FMC's, Abby's post-breakup decisions, she quits her job, she moves across the world, she gets bangs. Which one are you personally doing post-breakup?
I wish it were bangs. I feel like I've got the forehead for them. But I don't.
Do any of us?
I can't do it. I don't have the patience. I don't have the volume. Yep. So I think I have to say move across the world, which I did already.
Which you did.
You know what? You are a modern woman. I know so few people that can do the bangs and stick to them. All right. We need to get into the book because we had the best time reading this. We utterly devoured it. And we feel like there is this real pipeline right now within sports romance where women are discovering sports through these books. And then they're actually becoming real fans, like out of nowhere, which this happened to me, real testimonial with hockey. Like I didn't care about hockey before I started reading hockey romance. Randomly I'm following it. So why do you feel like it took so long for football to come to the forefront? And do you think that it could have the next moment that hockey romance is having right now?
I hope so. I think like the World Cup did exactly what it was supposed to by being in
Great
America.
marketing.
Like, you know, like, yeah, I know. Thank you so much, FIFA, for having it the summer my book came out. There's this like weird thing in America where so many kids play soccer when they're little, but then when you become
kickers.
Like little kicker, like I played soccer and I can barely walk. Like I'm not an athlete. And then when you decide on like your real sport, it just no one does it. You do football, you do baseball, whatever. I think so that's like a weird thing that's always happened. I think soccer feels to people like this very sort of foreign European thing.
Yeah.
I was watching 30 Rock, which is my favorite show ever, and Kenneth the Page is pitching an idea. It's so good, so ridiculous. And his idea is that like there should be a bar on the bottom of the TV to block out any racy content. And he says like nudity or soccer. It's just like
it's so exotic.
Yeah, exactly. Like we can't have our kids watching that. That's European.
Of course not.
Yeah. But it's the best. I think it's so fun. I think it's such a like when it's good, it's fast paced, it's punchy. I think more people should get into it.
Okay, so we heard that you are writing your next book now. So are we getting more sports romance, or is there a new trope that you're leaning into that you're hoping is the next big thing?
You know, it's not another sports romance. I think like people really want more books focused on the other players at Mersey, and I think that is great. I mean, I love these boys so very much. So I won't rule it out. Maybe for the 2030 World Cup.
Amazing.
Yeah. My next one is like completely not at all sports related. It's like about it's about like puzzles and riddles and sexy brain teasers.
Okay. Like a little Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, it's like nerds. Like, what if you fell in love with somebody's like brain first? But then also it turns out he's really physically hot too. Because come on.
Yeah.
The dream.
Yeah.
Which we've been noticing a lot now, like, which we applaud, that these romance books can be so multidimensional. Like, you can go into more of like a literary fiction lens with these romance books now. It doesn't just have to be like all cutesy. So that might be the next big trope.
I think I so strongly agree. I think I have read some of the most devastatingly beautiful books I've ever read have been romances.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more human than falling in love. So why wouldn't we explore that in all of the insane ways that it manifests? Like, totally. I'm all in.
And it's so interesting because romances are written off as silly or like a guilty pleasure, particularly rom-coms. And I'm interested in what you think that people get wrong there, like about why women actually read them or why people read them in general.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my 18-minute rant on why the patriarchy is the worst.
All right, clock starting now.
We won't cut a single second.
Here we go.
No, I think women's pleasure is so trivialized and men's pleasure is so dominant in culture. And like, obviously I'm generalizing here, but like, that's why we get beer commercials with like hot twins mud wrestling.
Yeah.
But if a woman wants to read a book about like love or sex, it's like, oh, shame. I think like it's so dumb. I think women are such big readers. Women deserve to read about whatever they want to read about. And that can be war, and that can be violence, and that can be love, and it can be sex. And I think it's just so easy for people to dismiss romance and rom-coms as like chick lit. But whatever, get over yourselves. It's
literally
great fiction.
Let us live our lives. Get us out from under the microscope.
I know. And like, especially like my God, we should be celebrating anybody who chooses to read
correct.
in this like world where reading is plummeting off a cliff, right?
Correct.
So, like, let's stop hating on what they're reading and just start celebrating the fact that they're choosing to pick up a book.
Preach. Perfect 18-minute spiel.
Wow. For the uncensored version, go to my YouTube channel.
Okay, we do need to get into the origin story behind the soccer and the football of Abby Offside. So we already know you moved to England and it wasn't for a breakup, but how did the whole football love affair start?
It started with a love affair, a human love affair. I know,
do
right?
Tell.
Spoiler alert, it didn't work out. I was in college. It was my senior year of college, and I had like finished all of the classes that I needed to take to graduate, and I wasn't writing a thesis. So I was just sort of like farting around. And I had... Right. Like, come on. Yeah. I had a massive crush on a guy who was in my dorm, like in my house, and he was the year below me, and he loved soccer. He loved this team called Liverpool FC. And I decided that I was going to get him to fall in love with me by watching a lot of soccer with him. And so we just spent like hours in the basement of the dorm watching soccer.
Anna, this is so funny.
I know. And I was seriously like, what am I doing? Like, they're just running around. Like, could we have not picked a better sport to fall in love about?
There is absolutely no sexual tension
no
in this.
Romance. No romance happening there.
I know, nothing. But like, it's like something stuck. And then I graduated and I did Teach for America, which was great, but so like life consuming, and I had no emotional bandwidth for my existing friendships or relationships, but I still needed something to like channel my own energy into. So I just, for some reason, it was soccer, and I got really into it and was waking up early and going to the like the one bar in Charlotte, North Carolina that knew what soccer was, and it just carried me through that really tough time. And 15 years later.
Oh my gosh.
Good. I love that. That's so sweet.
That is wildly full circle for that romance, by the way. Like, the fact that it pulled you through a dark time.
Exactly. So like everything in this book about Abby falling in love with soccer, like that's me. I was on that journey.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. And you mentioned earlier that obviously the World Cup was here this summer. And Ted Lasso season 4 just came out, even after it was supposed to be done on the last season, which I feel like was probably because the fans were like, no, we need more.
Yeah.
Did you know that was happening when you were writing it? Or was that just like this publishing fate that was doing you a favor?
Yeah, both. So I knew the World Cup was happening because they decide those like, I don't know, 8 or 9 years in advance.
So far in advance.
Yeah. And so I was writing the book in like 22, 23 and thinking like, oh my God, finish this book, because if you do everything right, this can come out in summer 2026 in the US during the World Cup. But like everyone on the publishing journey, my agent, my editors, everyone didn't know, because like they don't care about that sport. So at every level I was like, guys, this needs to come out in June 2026. And then, so that was very intentional. The Ted Lasso is just like kismet. That is, I can't believe it came back, and that it came back right now is amazing.
Yeah. I'm interested in what you think the like magic or the spark is around Americans experiencing like true soccer culture for the first time, because that was obviously a huge thing with the World Cup, where everyone's like loving the Europeans experiencing Waffle House for the first time, but then the Americans are loving going to the games, and then obviously Ted Lasso, like that's the entire kind of scope. Like, what do you think it is?
Oh gosh, I think it's so many things. I think first of all, the people who love soccer enough to travel around the world to come see a game, like that energy is infectious.
Yes.
And my favorite thing about soccer, apart from the extremely handsome men who play it, are the like chants and songs. They're so clever.
Yes.
They're so creative. And so you hear these like complicated verses and there's drums and there's bagpipes. And then you think like, how did I think that just shouting defense was enough? Like we could be so much more creative than that.
It's so true.
I was going to say, I feel like there's so much more like heritage to the history of like football in Europe and the world. Where like in America, everything is like relatively young. Like there's not a lot of like fun history to things. So I think like all of those chants and like the energy that you just feel from the fans is so different than just like going to a baseball game in America.
Totally.
Speaking of those sexy football players, you introduced us to MMC Lachlan, a very attractive, from what my mind has created, Scottish football player. Were you pulling any personality traits or looks from real players you have watched that you also are in love with, or was this all part of your imagination?
He's mostly my imagination, but there are some archetypes, let's say. I think the most important one, there's a player called Andy Robertson who actually captains the Scotland team, and he played for Liverpool during the entire period. You're Googling him. This is great. I was like, I'll share my screen.
If you think I'm not immediately going to the keyboard.
And I'll just preface this by saying I've showed him to a couple of people who have asked me this, and they've been a little underwhelmed. Because he's not... Okay, he is good looking, like objectively. He is not
his vibe.
Like jaw-droppingly attractive, but his vibe is so good.
Yeah.
He's so funny. He is like, honestly, I took a lot of his personality for Bashy and the idea of this, like, he's the hub of the dressing room. He's like chief of the banter. He's making sure everybody's having fun, which to me is the most attractive thing a man can do. Like, so that's, But there are a lot of other... Sorry?
Does he look like he can toss me around a bedroom, Cassie?
Not particularly.
What?
No.
I'm sorry.
I know.
He's very cute though. Like he's
very cute.
He does seem like he would bring some good banter. Like you would have a beer with him and you would probably have a great time. Like this is the vibe that I'm getting from him.
You can Google Virgil van Dijk, Dijk, who is 6'5" and full of aura.
Dutch. Oh,
he's Dutch.
This is more Emily's speed.
I was thinking about Lachlan as like a Scottish Highlander, like not the body type you need to run down a soccer field, but that's like really what I wanted him to look like.
I know. Then we run into the limitations of like, if you're this huge lumbering mass, you can't run like 10 miles in a game. So
impossible. Okay, I'm intrigued though because I do lightly watch soccer and I would love to hear if he was a real player, what current footballer would have the closest vibe to him.
Oh gosh, current footballer is really hard. I think so there's a player, so I'm a Liverpool fan, so I basically only know Liverpool fans, Liverpool.
Fair.
This is a really hot guy. He plays for Liverpool. His name is Dominik Szoboszlai, and it's like
I've heard of this guy. He's Hungarian. Yeah.
And he
has great hair. That's how I remember him.
Great hair, male model. He is really similar to Lachlan in that he's a midfielder. He can score, but he's not like always up front trying to score. Can kind of sit a little bit further back. He takes great free kicks, and he's really hot. So he can be that.
So when we meet Lachlan, he's not like this super cocky superstar athlete like one might expect. He's actually kind of a little like lonely and reserved. Why did you decide to portray him like that when we meet him?
He's a little soft boy. He's lost. I think it's fun to play with that expectation that you think all athletes are going to be these big, like, testosterone machines.
Yeah.
And he is that. He loves winning. He's highly competitive. He's incredibly gifted as an athlete. But I think it's so much more interesting to see him as this, like, vulnerable man who is at the end of his playing career. He's battling injuries. He's terrified about what happens next. I think that was such a natural inflection point, and it's it's responsible for all of the things that are going on in his life is this question of what am I without football? Like, what do I do? What do I want? And that was way more fun to play with for me than just like, I'm Lachlan, I'm athlete.
I actually really thought we were going to get a retirement announcement out of him in the book.
I did too.
I think he's got a couple more years in him.
Okay.
I think, if I can get just like really in the weeds, this book takes place during the 2022 World Cup.
Yeah.
I think Lachlan would limp on for 2026 and
would
hold
sit on the
out and
bench.
see if Scotland could. Yeah.
We're seeing all these athletes push through in their 30s, you know?
Yeah.
We have Messi, we have Ronaldo, LeBron.
Messi's got one foot in the grave.
Men.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And he's still playing for Miami.
And he's still
like,
playing.
What are you doing? Go
It's
home.
fine.
It's fine.
No,
it's
just
fine.
go take a nap, man.
Go
You've earned it.
rest. Go on vacation. It's fine. I think another piece we loved about the romance was not just that Lachlan felt very well-rounded, but also that the stakes were pretty significant. Like, it wasn't just there was like an attraction and there were like, there was the third act breakup. Like, there were real consequences to this. Like, his job, her job, his marriage. Like, how much did you actually want readers to scream, don't do it, while also desperately wanting them to just get together? Because that was where I was at the entire book.
Yes, we were questioning our morals the whole time.
Correct.
I know. And I was like, one of my favorite things someone said on Instagram was like, I loved Lachlan so much, except for when I wanted to punch him in the throat.
Yeah.
It's like, yep.
It was such a
Me
love
too.
hate. I know.
Yeah.
And it's like, you just want to like shake them,
I know.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, I like apologize to everybody, but also that's just the best, right? Like, that means that you care and you're invested. And I think for some people, the fact that he's married is just like a huge no-no. And I get that. I 100% get that.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to like make a broader point about anything. But I also think that like, I have watched my friends make terrible romantic decisions. I have made terrible romantic decisions.
Right?
And like, sometimes you do just want to shake them and be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And that's just a marker of the depth of how much you care.
I love
this
that.
was the argument I was having in my head, Anna. Okay, so Abby leaves her fiancé because of infidelity, and then she's kind of part of an infidelity situation, and I just didn't know how to grapple with those emotions. Like, what were you expecting readers to feel?
Like rage?
Like, I almost didn't want them to end up together. I was kind of like, go your separate ways, maybe.
No,
I know. And I think that's like, like Emma was talking about, Emma Brody in her episode was talking about the contract that you have with readers. And if you're reading a romance, the contract is there's a happily ever after. And I think like people might read this book and wonder like, actually, should there be?
Yeah.
Because how is this going to work out while making us all feel okay about it? And I think the fact that Abby was cheated on and then becomes also kind of the other woman in like an emotional way, like she reckons with that a little bit. And I think it just shows the depths of her denial at everything that was happening. And I think there was probably some part of her that felt like catharsis at being able to inflict that pain on somebody else that was inflicted on her, which is not like a healthy emotion, but I think
it's real.
Yeah. So it's a mess. And like, I fully agree with that.
Yeah, and that's why this book is so much more than just like a rom-com. Like, you really get in Abby's head. She's really grappling with the decisions she's making. She's making tough choices. Like, I was like very emotional at parts reading part of like her internal monologue.
Thank you. I was emotional writing it. Like I put her through it, and I'm sorry, Abby, but I think I landed the plane okay. I hope other people do too, because I didn't want it to be.
100%.
You did.
Yeah, thank you. Like,
you did.
Everybody's a bad guy. Everybody's a good guy, because that's how life is. Like, it's not black and white.
But you did it in an unexpected way. Like, I didn't know how you were going to end it. I did not know how you were going to land the plane, but you did.
Sometimes I didn't know either. I was like, Jesus Christ, is that a runway? Okay, let's get down.
There we go. Congrats on the landing. We love it. No, I thought...
I'm like, Captain Sully on the Hudson. Like, this is how we're going to do it. Yeah.
Oh my God. I just started sweating thinking about that movie. Okay. So speaking of Abby, she obviously finds out that her fiancé is cheating. She leaves him and is like, peace out, America. I'm moving to England. I feel like women in particular are so drawn to these stories. Like you have the eat, pray, love vibe kind of going here. What do you think is so satisfying about that? Reading it or watching it or whatever that may be, of just like leaving the situation and drastically changing your life.
I think it's so appealing because we've all thought about it at one point in time, right? Like even if you love your life and you think it couldn't be any better, you do have that moment of like, yeah, but what if I like under the Tuscan sun and just bought this villa and like started again? There's
Great
something
movie.
so like freeing and cleansing and exciting about it. And then you remember that like, okay, you have a life and you have responsibilities and all that sort of stuff. But that's why we read, to see, to like live vicariously through that process. And I love those movies. I always
They're the best.
think how fun would that be? And like, I love living in London. I never want to leave here, but still sometimes I'm like, yeah, but what about like, what's Norway like? You know, like, live on a fjord
trip. Yeah.
Why not?
No, I agree. I feel like it's just one of those, the like reinvention and like having the empowerment to do that and seeing the capacity to do that like is very interesting. When I watch those stories of, you're like, oh, women are capable of doing this for themselves, you know, like
totally.
It's not out of reach.
And I think so much of those stories is about the woman realizing that she's capable.
Yeah.
And because you don't want to see a story where, you know, scene 1, the woman is like, I'm going to move here and it's going to be amazing. And scene 2, it's amazing. Like that's not how life works.
Right.
But I think it is fun to see the struggle and to see the, you know, the loneliness and the cultural differences and the things that you have to push through and realize that like, oh yeah, you could do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Abby does that. She goes and she has her troubles. She has roommate troubles, money troubles, all those things. But she's also simultaneously like falling in love with the city, falling in love with football, making these like new friends and found family. So how much did you have in your mind of like Abby's reinvention arc versus like Abby and the romance? Or was it just simultaneously happening?
It was very important to me that Abby had an arc outside of Lachlan. I think like my favorite romances to read are ones where we're at least sort of evenly split between something going on in her life and something going on with the partner. So to me, that was always an intentional choice. And it was like every couple of chapters I'd have to make sure that something else was happening that wasn't just Lachlan.
Right.
The found family was the most important part. I love these lovable idiots on this team.
They're so
much.
Sweet.
They're amazing.
And it's like the whole reason I wanted to write this book and the whole genesis of it was was watching a lot of Liverpool like Instagram and YouTube behind the scenes footage and just thinking like how fun would it be to feel like the little sister, best friend of 25 spectacular athletes in the prime of their life. Like, how fun would that be?
And then
I know, right?
Like
going
warm
from there.
hug. Like I just felt like so warm and cozy during all of those scenes.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Anna. I also said this to Cass because I am not a football soccer fan. I have to say I didn't even watch the World Cup, but I do love Ted Lasso. Okay. So I learned while reading this book that it is not called Offsides with an S. Yeah. It is Offside. But then the title is Abby Offsides. Is that like an inside joke or what is this?
I know. This title, the title was really something. So the original working title that I wrote it under was called Me and You and the Beautiful Game. And then we realized like nobody knows that soccer is called the beautiful game. So get rid of that. And my agent and I were brainstorming things and she came up with Abby Offsides. And my first reaction, because I'm hugely pedantic, was like, yeah, but it's in soccer, it's offside. It's not offsides. Yeah. And she was like, no one in America knows that.
They don't. It's so true.
They really don't.
Because in American football, it's offsides.
Correct.
And so, then it just became this like, okay, I can give up the fact that it's incorrect, as long as I get to put a scene very early in the book where she's corrected. And like, then it becomes a little bit of a recurring bit because I wanted to make sure that people knew that I know.
I know what's up here. Okay.
Yeah.
I watch Liverpool soccer.
Yeah, exactly.
I do think the piece at the end of the book that you included around the beautiful game, like that was such a nice tie-in, obviously, at the end. But also, I didn't know that either, like even as a fan of soccer. So I feel like not only there's just this ode to like self-love with Abby, obviously romantic love with Lachlan, but there's also this just like love of the game that just comes through so nicely throughout the book. And I hope you felt that while you were writing it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I did. It was like, I think that's another great thing about soccer. I think compared to maybe only basketball or maybe hockey, like it is such a team sport. Like you have to trust each other. You have to know where everybody is, but without being able to like communicate it. And I think that is kind of a nice metaphor for what Abby was going through. Like not always able to say what she was thinking, but building that trust in the people around her and who she was bringing into her life as she started this new journey. And I think that was a team is exactly the right metaphor for that.
I love that. Well, after readers close this book, what is something that you hope that they believe about either starting over or about how they approach their lives in general?
I think, I mean, just building on that, the idea that you really can do anything if you surround yourself with the right people, and that reinvention feels really hard, but it doesn't have to be a huge wholesale change. It doesn't have to be move to England tomorrow and cut your bangs, right? It can just be cut your bangs.
If you want. Yeah,
it can if you want, and you should. And when you get here, let me know. We'll hang out. But like, you know, change is scary, and really can feel like something that you don't feel equipped to do, but you can if you really want to, and if you have the support of people like who have your back. Go for it. Do it.
Yeah. Okay, so we know you're writing your next book. You told us a little bit about it, but what is in the future for Anna? Like, what are you manifesting for yourself?
Gosh, I'm manifesting for all the heat waves in England to be over.
Yeah.
I'm manifesting a complete reversal of climate change.
Hear that.
No, we're having really, really exciting and very, 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 very early conversations about adapting Abby for like TV, which I think would be so fun.
Oh, that would be amazing. Oh my God, I need that now.
Like even if it doesn't go anywhere, which, you know, I'm being very realistic, it's just such a cool conversation to have. But then, besides that, I'm working on a second book, which is going to be out next year. And then I already have a pretty solid idea of what my third and fourth book would be. And then maybe fifth book, which would could be another
World
continuation
Cup.
of the Mersey.
2030.
The Mersey story.
So
we'll see.
I need to know when the Pride and Prejudice retelling
that's what I was going to ask. I was like, wait, can we go back to the fact that we also heard there's a unreleased Pride and Prejudice retelling?
Release the tapes. We need them.
Honestly, I'm down.
Yes! Self-published.
I love this story. I wrote it during lockdown. It's a modern gender-swapped retelling. So Darcy is a woman in her 30s, and she's rich and she's aloof. And
love.
I'll release it tomorrow.
Please.
So we just have to see.
Book. Like literally, Anna, just put it online, please.
Yeah. And I put it on Tumblr. Let's bring back Tumblr real quick.
Yeah. Let's bring back Tumblr.
I know.
Like I want to, maybe I'll serialize it in my newsletter or something.
Yes.
Like I think it will get out at some point because I just love it too much. And I love Lady Darcy as a concept.
Lady Darcy is brilliant. Like I would eat that up. We need it.
Literally a Substack, charge 99 cents a month and do 5 chapters a month on Substack. I'm sorry, are we your agents? Like, let's
No, this is
going.
great. Yeah.
Let's get this going, Anna. We'll talk business later. Okay.
You're going to get 15% of that 99 cents a month. So get ready.
Please.
Thank God.
I just want the book. All I need is an early release of the book and I'll be happy.
An early release and 2 pennies. We'll take it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Done.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. This is awesome. It's so great to laugh with you as much as we laughed in this book. And I feel like this is a story that will stick with us for so long. If you haven't read Abby Offsides, what are you doing? Go read it right now. Get it now. You will have the best time falling in love with Abby, with the entire team, with Lachlan, and with Anna. So go do it.
Anna, where
Thanks,
can people
guys.
follow you for updates? Like, what's the Instagram handle? What's your newsletter?
Yeah. Oh my God. Newsletter. Oh, sorry. I just got like the panic sweats. Like one of these days we'll start a newsletter. So you can go to my website. No pressure, but maybe that's what
we'll discuss later. Don't worry.
Yeah, we'll have it in our team meeting.
Yeah.
I'm on Instagram, Anna McCallie author. I'm like technically have a Threads account, but I think Threads might be the bad place. So I don't ever post there.
Scary.
It's tough. Yeah. And then, AnnaMcCallie.com. DM me. I love it. I love hearing from people. So, yeah. I'm out there.
That's our favorite, when we can interact directly with the authors. And I know other readers feel that too. So thank you so much. And for anyone listening here, we'll see you same time, same place. Grab your blankets, grab your book boyfriends. We'll see you then.
See ya.
Thanks, guys. Bye.